Okay, here we go. This is the video. This is a story of a boy who had a burger and got fucking shot.
3161. Hey, can you start me one more? I got a vehicle over here that fled from me the other day. He's in the parking lot.
Okay, so the vehicle fled from this cop the other day, he says.
Yeah, 4. Get somebody else over there. 30, go into the way over there with 3161. Maybe off of 11th and 100, blank over to the McDonald's. And 3161, you want him running code?
10-4. License plate.
Yeah, I don't know if he actually fled from the cop. That's what the cop said.
Get out of the car.
What?
Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired!
Earlier, he's gonna maybe for a return on it right now.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
So there you go. That's the video. We'll skip to this part, watch it one more time, see what's going on. This is the only relevant part. So he opens the door.
Car.
What? Okay, I got the analysis. Simple. First of all, there's a lot wrong with the cop's approach here. A lot wrong with the cop's approach, but we've got a problem. Something being wrong with an approach does not always change the calculus on what happens when you're using lethal force. Is this guy justified? I don't know. That's a stretch. But here's the argument that he would be justified, and it's really not that complicated. Cop opens door, gives order to get out of the car. All right? We got a couple different things happening. He's fired for not following police procedure, but not following police procedure does not automatically remove the justification for the use of force. Okay? Cop opens the door, says, get out the car. Person puts the car in reverse while the cop is standing inside of the open door and starts driving. You have suddenly turned the car into a lethal weapon in many jurisdictions. Does that justify him pulling a gun and shooting at the kid? Should it? Probably not. Does it? Quite possibly. If that cop is reasonably in fear for an immediate risk of death or serious injury, he becomes privileged to use deadly force. That is always the calculus. The only different thing is if you are provoking the deadly force against you to justify your use of deadly force against them. That's the legal analysis. Now, that legal analysis gets very complicated when juries get involved, and a pure legal analysis does not always play out that way in a case. There's a bunch of other factors. It being the wrong car doesn't matter. Him approaching the car door, again, in the legal analysis, opening the car door doesn't matter. The driver has created, this is the argument, the driver has created a deadly force situation. Now, is it going to play out like this in court? Well, no. But pure legal analysis doesn't play out in court. Legal arguments are not courtroom arguments. Okay? I get that Donut Operator has a good breakdown video, guys. I'm not Donut Operator. People can go watch it. I've seen you say it 100 times. I'm not going to watch Donut's breakdown. I like Donut very much, and people should go watch his breakdown of it. I'm telling you, for the context of the discussion about the Lawtube drama that's coming, because that's kind of the critical reason why I'm even looking at this. I don't fucking care about this case. For the context of the discussion that's coming, the legal analysis is the officer in immediate threat of serious bodily injury or death. A car door is here to his left. The car is backing up, and that car door can knock him down, can drag him, can pull him into, like if it closes, it could get him trapped in the vehicle. He can get run over. A lot of jurisdictions have held that a police officer is in the zone of danger when that car starts moving. Okay? You can disagree, but I'm telling you what a lot of jurisdictions have found. In the Kim Potter trial, it didn't work out this way, but that's still the legal analysis. This is why it's going to matter. And I can pretty much guess, that that is kind of where the root of Branca's discussion comes down. Okay? I'm going to guess that. I haven't seen it. It's members only on Law of Self-Defense. I also haven't watched anything about this shit. But here we go. This is the drama. This is the preface for the drama. This is Natalie Lawyer Chick. She says, it's so clear that the cop who shot that young man eating a burger was wrong and should be charged with attempted murder. There was no justified use of force. Well, Natalie is a defense attorney, and she should know that there is certainly an argument for the justified use of force. And if you're looking at it as if this police officer is the client, from a defense attorney perspective, she needs to be making this argument. Now, she's not looking at it from that perspective, so she doesn't actually have to do that. All right? She doesn't have to look at it that way. She's just on Twitter giving her opinion, which is fine. But from a defense perspective, if the cop is your client, you absolutely will argue that he had reasonable fear of imminent death or serious bodily harm from the car that was backing up into him. Maybe he knows another officer who is dragged. A lot of cops do. Maybe he's been dragged. Who knows? Who knows? So, there was no justified use of force. That's a pretty bold statement, but fine. Yet, experts are trying to justify that shooting too. People can get law degrees and still be blinded by prejudice. And this, look, sometimes people say things that apply to themselves. I have seen some prejudice come from Natalie. And a lot of that prejudice, before anybody jumps on me for this, I'm not talking about race. I'm talking about a defense attorney's perspective on things. And it gets really weird when you have officer-involved shootings because typically defense attorneys are fighting against the state. With an officer-involved shooting, even though the police officer can become the defendant, you're still talking about the state use of force, and kind of it's really easy to get into that mode of I'm against the state, I'm against the law enforcement agencies, et cetera, et cetera. I'm fighting them. So they think of the victim in this case being the defendant, which isn't true. That kid's not charged. There is no legal analysis on that kid right now. The legal analysis is entirely around the police officer. So, but this is the first part, right? Like this is where the dig and the drama starts. Experts. I believe she's referring to Andrew Branca, cheekily referring to Andrew Branca. Andrew Branca is actually an expert on self-defense law. And I don't always agree with him either. See Kyle Carruth and Chad Reed's situation. We had some nice discussion and disagreement over that. Perfectly fine to do. But yeah, he is an expert on self-defense and the use of force. He's literally hired as an expert to do those analyses. But okay. So experts are trying to justify that shooting too. Now I haven't heard what Bronca said, so I don't know about like if he's trying to justify it or if he's just making the argument. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to be nice talking about this anymore. Some lawyers have absolutely no trial experience and only understand the law on a theoretical level that hasn't been challenged in our adversarial system and have given consistently wrong analysis on these use of force cases. Ooh. Shots fired. Hope she had a justifiable use of that deadly weapon. Derek Chauvin, wrong. Kim Potter, wrong. Breonna Taylor, wrong. I have no idea what Bronca has said about Derek Chauvin or Breonna Taylor. But on Kim Potter, Kim Potter was a bad decision, and misstatements of the law were abound by the state in their closing arguments. And she got railroaded, frankly. That case should have been dismissed. But that's okay. And these wrong takes are used as shields and succor for bigots to turn around and spout online. I think it's supposed to be ill-informed takes influenced by bias in favor of police and against people they deem to be thugs. Is there? Okay. And to cover these wrong takes, they attack other lawyers and lie and say they only analyze the case through race. I practice in a jurisdiction where citizens are legally allowed to resist an unlawful arrest. I'd be very cautious with that. So the cops' use of force continuum is an element I often deal with. And so their acolytes often get their hearts set on a particular theory without understanding the motivation and weaknesses behind the analysis. No outcome is formulaic in any criminal case, but you've made it formulaic. Like you're saying it is formulaic. God damn it, Ryan. Get that shit off the screen. God, fuck. Oh my God. You're making it formulaic. Anyone who tells you that they for sure know what the verdict will be is a charlatan. Oh, here's the crazy thing. I have never once heard Andrew Bronca tell us what a verdict will be in any of these cases, ever. In fact, I almost always hear him say, I can't tell you what the verdict's going to be. I don't know what a jury's going to say. I just tell you what the legal analysis is. But look at this. There was no justified use of force. I mean, that's as strong of a statement as I've heard from any other lawyer on these issues. That's telling us what the verdict is, right? Like by this analysis. All right. So this is the one thread. And then the next thread gets a little bit more specific. How are you going to offer legal consult service for active criminal cases in states that you're not licensed to practice law in? Because you're not practicing law in doing this. I don't know. Maybe I'm not sure if Natalie knows this, but you can have lawyers from other states so long as you know that the lawyer is not from that state on your legal team. And if they're not filing motions and they're not entering the courtroom, if they're not coming before the court, they don't even need to be waived in pro hoc vice. So it's just a legal consult. This happens all the time. I'm not sure where she's getting, like, this is just a wrong statement. A disclaimer that this is a legal consult for the person's attorney when the attorney hasn't consulted with you is a major ethical issue. Wait. This is a weird statement. So it's a legal consult for the person's attorney, but the attorney hasn't consulted. Where's this information coming from at all? Like, this is a pointed statement. Like, right? Like, you get that this tweet is aimed very fucking clearly at Andrew. But I'm not sure where she's getting that the person's attorney is not involved in the consult. Okay. It's not attorney work product if the attorney hasn't retained you and agreed to sanction your very likely unethical contract with their client. Wait a minute. How is it unethical if the attorney is involved? You said if the attorney is not involved, then it's a major ethical issue. But if the attorney is agreeing to it because the attorney is hiring the consult or is contracting for the consult, then it's not unethical contract with the client. It's with the attorney. I think she's fucking lost on this. Like, I honestly, I don't know if like a rage switch flipped in her head, but this, okay, there are different types of disagreement in various like writing analysis, right? I'm a writer. I went to school to learn how to write because I'm fucking stupid, okay? But you have internal consistency and external consistency. Her screed here is internally inconsistent. It doesn't agree with its own premises from one thing to the next. That often happens when someone is writing or arguing purely emotionally. Like, because the rational analysis is gone. This statement disagrees with this statement. So if the attorney doesn't accept your consultation, the communication the defendant has disclosed to you subjects you to becoming a state witness. Okay. That's fine. If the state thinks that there's something to get out of the witness, I guess they could try it. But if the witness is consulting you as legal counsel, they're not limited in consulting only their retained counsel in the state. So you can still create privileged work. Like if I have a lawyer for my case and I go, I want another lawyer's opinion, and I go to hire the other lawyer and I tell them some stuff, I still have privileged communications with the new lawyer. They're not destroyed just because they're not my other lawyer. I legitimately don't know what she's fucking talking about here. And you can talk to any lawyer in any state about your legal issues and obtain privilege so long as it's a clear expectation of the exchange of something for legal services or legal advice. Like, you generate privilege very, very simply as long as both parties are clear and as long as the communication is actually private between the two of you. So with that, if the attorney does, it subjects you to becoming a state's witness, but those communications are still privileged. This is an incorrect legal analysis, a very incorrect one. So people are paying you to potentially incriminate themselves. Great idea. If people are paying you for a legal consultation as their attorney, they can't incriminate themselves. That's privileged. Period. You don't become a state's witness. What the state can call you and you'll say, I'm sorry, that's privileged communications. And the other attorney would then move to quash you as a witness, because it's privileged communications between an attorney and a client. They can't even ask what they talked about. Like if you just call up a lawyer and say, hey, I have a legal issue that I'm curious about, the state can't even ask which legal issue. It's privileged. But okay. So now there's beef, and this probably is my fault. Because everything in Lawtube sphere is my fault, right? Everything is my fault entirely. Andrew was on the show the other night. We had the No Drama show, and he gave an opinion of Natalie. It was not really favorable. And it was based on some interactions he's had, I think, on my show as well. And I haven't had any negative interactions with Natalie. I think her analysis here is completely bonkers, but whatever. I don't really care. That's fine. But she's had a run-in with Andrew and with Ty on my show. And those are interesting exchanges, I'll say. Very interesting exchanges. So I'm taking credit for this being my fault. But here's the issue. There can be no Lawtube drama if there is no Lawtube. Lawtube is fucking gay. It is so shit. It is dumb. It's a bad idea. It is a bad implementation. And I talked about this. None of this matters. This is all stupid because we're not an organization and never should be. Ever. For fuck's sake, stop begging to be a thing. I don't care how shitty and little your YouTube channel is and how much you really want to grift off of someone else in network at will, as if there's some expectation that you'll be invited to the party. There is no party unless you want it. I mean, if you guys want it, not you, the chat, I'm talking to the other content creators out there. If you guys want your little weird commie circle jerk, have the fuck at it. But I tried to tell you, stop doing this. You are independent. And if you're independent and failing, then fucking fail. And then get better and try something else or try again. Don't be independent failures and then go, oh, well, if only I had a network of people to mooch off of, then we'll be successful. Wait a minute. The we there was weird because you were failing and the other person wasn't. So if you're failing and the other person isn't failing, we don't become successful together. You are taking from them something and trying to bolster yourself. But you're not learning how to fucking do it. This is the problem. You're not getting any better at it. You're just relying on the concept of Lawtube to increase your own, or to cover up your own inadequacy. Stop it. Some of you need to fail. Some of you are really, really bad at this. And I'm not saying fail forever, but you need to fuck up and realize that you have fucked up and that your show format is bad. Your jokes aren't good. Your personality isn't good for this. Whatever it is, I don't know. I don't have a comprehensive list of who is what. But some people can hold an audience and others can't. And them's just the fucking ropes of entertainment. And if you can't handle that, fucking leave. Or get better. But stop like demanding other people to be responsible for your failures. It's the biggest problem with this fucking group. And guys, I have had so many conversations behind the scenes. And I won't ever say with who, But absolutely just raw fucking entitlement. Just, well, we need to do this. You need to help out here. Have this person on. Have me on. Come on my show. Not like, there are people who ask, of course. A lot of my friends, you know, hey, would you like to come on this day? Hey, you doing anything where you could use another voice? Sure, fine, cool. But some people, it's like, well, we have to do this. We have to do that. No, fuck off. Stop it. These people are trying to make a network and they're trying to do it. Well, I should be getting these subs. I should be getting these views. I should X. I should Y. I should Z. And a lot of these people popped up. I mean, their channels popped up out of nowhere really quickly, grew. And they're like, well, I deserve this. No. You caught a good wave and you rode it. You didn't deserve anything. Nobody deserves any of this. Nobody deserves success on social media. Nobody deserves it. You work your fucking ass off and you find those waves and you ride them to shore, man. And then you paddle out and you do it again. But you notice some people, man, they go that like that wave, they are on top of the world. And then once that wave crashes, they are in the fucking dumpster. And they expect, like, well, I've been doing this for months. Months? Jesus Christ. We're all fucking charmed. We're all charmed. Like, I've been doing this for 5 years and I am charmed in my growth. There's a bunch of people out there who've been doing these, who've been doing YouTube or whatever for 10 years plus, and their channels are stuck and they can't get the algorithm and they can't get the audience. And these aren't bad YouTubers. These are not bad content creators. But some of the people in Lawtube absolutely are. So I'm calling it out. And this is why I'm not in it, never wanted to be in it, will never be in it. Because the level of entitlement and circle jerkery that can go on in those types of groups makes me want to die. And anyone who thinks they're entitled to subscribers or entitled to views needs to get off the fucking internet right now. Nobody owes you shit. You are trying to get into one of the most charmed lives possible. Guys, my life is so fucking funny and ridiculous. Like the way it works out. It's charmed. I'm thankful for every second of it, even the shitty seconds of it. I never thought the audience or anybody else owed me a fucking view. And there are people out there who really do think that. And it's kind of embarrassing. And I hate to say I told you so, but I fucking told you so. And the second that my YouTube is unsuspended, first, there's going to be an I'm Back Bitches video. That's going up. I'm going to grift, of course, my suspension on YouTube, my resurrection. That all has to happen. I think that's Friday that happens. But probably the next video is going to be, remember when I said this, and I'm going to clip out that segment about Lawtube and the drama and the bullshit and the entitlement, because I am Nostradamus and I called all of this stuff. I called it all. And people are just, that nobody wanted to listen to it. So I'm just going to clip that segment and I'm going to post it up again, because I guess everybody needs to be fucking reminded. And I don't know how anybody doesn't get this. So, and before anybody wants to come out and be like, he's talking about this person or that person. No, I'm speaking very generally, and I'm saying that I hold an opinion that I will not share about some content creators being shit. But I don't shit on people specifically unless they shit on me. And I don't think anybody has lately. I mean, if they want to do the man dance, we can do that, I guess, but I'm not really looking for that. So I'm telling people they need to be self-analyzing, self-aware of just how entitled they sound, of just how ridiculous the idea of some sort of blood debt that the chat owes to us is. That's retarded. And the sort of debt that other creators owe to anybody. Nobody owes anybody anything. We're all individual, and we always should be. And if you want to sacrifice that into a gay little group, enjoy what comes with it, motherfucker, but never, ever, ever ask me to be a part of it. Miss me with that shit.